What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Ooh! Let's get all caught up here, pull up our Discord. Let them know we're going live. Stefan, like lightning, there they are. How's it going? Okay, here we are. Discord has been discorded. Let me get my cameras. My security cameras up so I know if anyone's knocking on my front door. There we go. All right. Let's get started. We're going to kick things off here with Millie's Pod. They are A-OK with a white logic board in their space gray HomePod. So we're going to knock that out. And actually, it doesn't really matter. It's going to get changed to purple here, actually. They're not getting this base. This base was just a sacrifice. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'll be reusing this to color multiple HomePods. Because without it, it'll sit on the bottom and still melt a little bit, but it's looking pretty good. Let's get... Kevin is up next, so we'll let them know that they are coming right up. Here we are, 4:11. It was a text. Okay, Kevin has been messaged. Millie has been messaged. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of fixing to this here and make it purple. We are going to do the usual maintenance on the amplifier, you know, the diode for no power, the filters for death farts, anything else that we might spot, and a new subwoofer gasket. And then we'll put it back together with a working logic board since we already attempted a software restore with it, and it unfortunately did not take it as the error was written on the screen there that you might have seen. Possibly invalid IBEC. I think the main A8 CPU has suffered some damage and isn't letting us restore, so snowing again. Wow. The sun came out today. It hasn't snowed here in a bit. Whoa. Okay, hardest part's over. I guess it's time to redo the screwdriver again. I'll go ahead and do that before it really gets on my nerves. I can feel it already. I'll just keep adding a piece of tape to it every day. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see. Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing here. I don't know. The manufacturer of that screwdriver sent me a bunch of them, and they all have the same problems. But that's such as the way things go sometimes. I'll stick that in the pile of logic boards with the same error, and maybe I'll figure out how to fix those someday. Got some dust in there. Some of Tim's tears to soften up the glue holding this together. Oh, that's right. Tomorrow's the 19th. We will see. Was there any signs of physical damage on their stuff here? Nope. Okay. And the display. Looking good. Go ahead and dust this off before it all goes in there. Beautiful. Yeah, Woofer's all right. Smells great. Looks great. Here we go again. I'm going to try this one more time. One last time. You see there how there's like a hole in the middle of the button? Let's give her a shot. Where'd I put that button? Find the button on the... Oh. Caught him. I have to push on that really hard. Not ideal, but I'll have to live with it until I can find a replacement screwdriver, I suppose. Alright, here we go. Our signature hardware maintenance. We'll get those filters replaced since we know they go bad and cause death farts and all sorts of bass issues. Oh. Let's just get those out of there. We don't want them. We don't need them. We don't trust them. With some fresh filters on there, do we need a diode? Yes, we do. We've got a 46K date code there on that one, which means it's one of the bad ones that fails and causes no power. We'll get that replaced before that happens, and with a new one, it'll never happen. The only reason these diodes fail is from a quality control issue. A certain batch of them are failing for no reason, other than a quality control issue with the particular diodes. Still, it'd be like GM sticking faulty spark plugs in your car from AC Delco, and then the spark plugs going bad and causing your engine to no longer start, and them saying that you're on your own. You would expect GM to take care of the problem on your brand new car that has spark plugs that went bad because of the manufacturing defect. Even though GM didn't make them, GM assembled the car and sold you the car. And yeah, the HomePod isn't a car, and yeah, the HomePods are getting pretty old at this age, but these failures have been occurring since day one. I would wager saying since before day one even, because I've had prototypes sent in for repair that had earlier manufacturing dates than the production units. And they had the same diode failure. Same date codes on their diodes. Oh yeah, you see the temp and airflow there. That is what I put the camera there for. We used to, and if you're having trouble, you can do like 500 degrees Celsius. The board takes a lot of heat from that area. And if you didn't notice, I don't touch the board with my soldering iron for that diode in particular. I put fresh solder on my replacement diode and then reflow the replacement diode onto the board with my hot air. And, there's nothing wrong with using your iron to tin those pads for the diode on the board, but people tend to damage the board trying to use an iron to get it off or put it on, and lose components nearby. With the hot air, as long as you don't bump any components that you don't mean to take off, they'll stay where they're at. You don't touch them, they stay where they're at. That's the solder's surface tension holding them in place. Why doesn't everything fly away when you're working on this stuff? Because the solder's holding the stuff down. If you bump it, you break that surface tension, and that's when things start flying around. So it does take a steady hand and fine but intentional movements. And you don't want to sit there and keep scraping on the board trying to remove the old component. That's how you put scratches in the PCB and short pads to ground that shouldn't be connecting to ground. Because by scratching the PCB, you're exposing various lines and layers, usually the ground plane. And then solder will, of course, love to stick to it and connect all sorts of things nearby. Bad Times Incorporated. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that say you can do these repairs with a soldering iron, but those people haven't seen what happens when people try to use a soldering iron with little to no experience on these. It tends to not work out. If you have little to no experience, you're better off practicing with hot air and then going for it than trying to make it work with a soldering iron. Especially with multi-layer PCBs that have many components on both sides. You're not hot plating any of this stuff. No. Everything is nice and sealed. So now we will make it purple. We'll grab our T5. The only time we ever switch screwdriver sizes is when we're taking the 3 screws out of the bottom holding the mesh on there. Every other screw is a T6. Let's see, what condition is this in? That looks just a little dirty. That might clean up. Can I reuse it? Is the question. Would someone be happy paying grade A for this? If we gave it a quick wash, I think so. There we go. Now, this mesh that I did this on wasn't in perfect shape to begin with, so it wasn't a perfect result, and I was still trying some different things out, new pot, new methods. So when I have them, I'm happy to give people that are interested a very small discount on ones that I have like this that aren't perfect. But it looks pretty good if you ask me. I think it looks pretty good. Alright, I think after seeing how the other colored one on yesterday's stream looked with the black parts, Millie liked seeing that and wanted black stuff on their purple mesh here. I have a black, or a purple top I'll show you folks in a second. But that's looking fantastic. Here are those some of the colored tops I had sitting around. This one was the teal. Didn't turn out very well. This is just really the one that has some cracks in it. Just a tester. Tried to see how long it would take to take color if I did cold dye instead of having to boil them. This one I wanted to see what would happen if I just let it sit on the bottom of the pot directly as I dye HomePods, and it turned out beautifully. So that would be beautiful on here, but Millie saw how the other one looked with black instead of the color, and they like that. Also, a bit of a drawback is with the color, I can never get it to not color the volume buttons. They always get colored even if I cover them up. So the color, it ends up being a fair bit dimmer on the display. But I think they will be very happy with this. Let's move on to Kevin. After Kevin, we've got Ivan. So let's get Kevin's name up. Move Ivan up next. We'll let Ivan know since we're looking at him. Ooh, Ivan with the number 404 there. Alright, what have we got here? A fancy pants case. I'll go ahead and take this off. Oh, and we still have the plastic too. Very cool. I'll put that, I don't want to lose it. Alright, so Kevin here, no power, no lights, no nothing. A couple of watts from the wall. What's that tell us? It tells us that we probably got another dead diode. To answer your question, there's no way for us to tell on the outside whether it's a dead diode or even what date code your diode has. There's unfortunately no correlation. There were only 2 production runs for the first gen HomePod. They were both done back to back, and they've both been seen having these diodes. And I seriously doubt Apple has kept track of what date code diode went into each HomePod. That would be a bit of a stretch. We're lucky, we're really lucky we even have case markings, let alone a whole date code on these diodes to identify which ones to look out for. So you do need to take it apart to know what diode you have. But on the bright side, there's no sense worrying about it and ripping your HomePod apart. If it's working fine now, if your HomePod has the dead diode, then when it fails, it's a pretty isolated failure. It doesn't take anything else out. So it's the same time and money and effort to wait for it to fail and replace it, or to rip it apart and we'll see if you even have it or not. So that's what I tell folks. Just don't worry about ripping your pod apart or sending it in to us for any repairs unless it's giving you issues. I mean, I'm happy if you want to throw us the usual repair fee and have us replace the same parts that fail in everyone else's. We've got it. That's our, signature hardware maintenance. But I always try to tell folks, just don't worry about it. If it's working fine, should be all right. And most failures tend to not cost any more or less to prevent or fix after the fact. And, why risk sending me a perfectly working HomePod to have it get beat up in the mail or stolen on its way back to you? Yeah, insurance and all that, but still, hassle to deal with. Kinda sucks. Wouldn't it be easier to heat the top up of it to loosen the glue? Yes and no. I personally, it takes longer for me to sit there and heat it up than it does for me to just go around it a few times with the slicey slice straight away. But if you're trying to make it easier for yourself, we're going for pure efficiency here. We gotta get as many fixed the best way in the least amount of time possible. And 30 seconds to a few extra minutes can really set us back when we've got 5, 10, 15 plus HomePods waiting to get fixed. Thankfully today, we aren't too backed up. Yeah, no, it's crazy how even up to this day, how many of them that have worked fine until they do finally fail. Like, it's just been consistently. It's so weird. But also, a lot of the people that send them in hadn't even heard of us until they look into it and then find us years after it had been broken, or months or years after, and it's been sitting in their closet, and they remember it and they go, "Oh, I wonder if anybody's out there fixing them now." And they search for HomePod repairs, and gee golly, we're right there next to Apple and Best Buy's website. Is this our main job? No. I wish it was, but we don't charge enough to make a living off of this. Enough to subsidize a slightly more comfortable living and raising a kid and what have you. Trying to buy a house, but that's unfortunately not going to happen anytime soon now. That's a long story, but no, this is not my main job. We just do it in our free time. Once again, you were failing me. I do like sales and software support for a local software company as a day job. But I'm a salary. I'm on call all the time. At any moment, I'd have to stop the stream here and help them work on something. Usually, we time it pretty well, and we don't interfere with too much. This is getting so annoying. I can't keep working if my screwdriver is gonna stop every 5 seconds. We're about to go old school, full manual here. If this just keeps acting up. Do I have another one of these that I can maybe make work for now, because this is getting painfully annoying. I'm going to lose my mind. See, okay, and here's the problem. I can't just replace the freaking button because they have to have it soldered to the stupid board directly. Like, it's not even soldered, it's directly on the Flex PCB. And I can't just replace the stupid thing. You have to replace the whole... And they all have the same problem. They all get this hole in the button, and the button just stops working. $120 screwdriver. Breaks after a month over a piece of plastic over the button. I'm not even kidding. I have like 12 of these things sitting around because I kept complaining to the manufacturer about it. Like, hey, can we fix this instead of just selling more of the same problem? And what do? They just literally keep sending me more. I am very upset. No, I don't have any more. They're all literally broken in the same way now. Can you tell I'm upset about this? What can I do? I could try to... Where's my button? Sorry for the rant. It's just something that we've been dealing with here a lot recently, and let's see. Oh, no, it just doesn't even work. That's so stupid. And then can I like cover it with a piece of tape or something to make it somewhat usable again? Does this one even work? Yeah, it turns on. I don't know if it actually, man. But like, how many times can you complain to customer support and have them just keep sending you a free one before you just... Unfortunately, it's also like the only screwdriver of this size that has the torque to take these screws out. Everything else that I've tried is either bigger or weaker. Quite often, both. Yeah, see, this one has no gyro. That's sick. I've literally bought one. I've paid for one of these my entire life. Someone gifted me 2 of them, and the manufacturer sent me a bunch more every time I complain. They just send me new ones, and they don't fix the problem. I am open to recommendations on a screwdriver that has the same or better torque at the same or smaller size. Also, the fact that I can just sit there and twist which direction I want it to go, icing on the cake. Makes repairs very quick and easy when it works. Yeah, there's our problem. It has just come unsoldered. Can we fix this? Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna get to those. Oh. But did I? Did I fix it? Did I just like fix it for real? Was that the problem this whole time? It had started like just coming disconnected from the board entirely. I always thought it was the button itself inside that had been going bad, but no, it was just coming off the board entirely. Oh. All of that time fiddling with it will be worth it if I just figured out how to fix these. Oh my god, it has never worked better in my entire life. Yes! Yes, yes, yeah, that was worth it. That was worth it. We could have fixed another HomePod in the time we've been messing with that thing, but we, Oh, look at that. Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. You don't understand. All right, now we gotta catch up. Because we should be almost done with our third HomePod by now, and we're just getting into the second one. Mike, you missed it. It was the first HomePod we did in the stream. I even made an announcement in the Discord server and all that. Oh, to answer your question, it's the tropical teal, and neither of those two are very good results. The picture I posted in the Discord server that looked like I was peeing, but I really wasn't. I don't know why it looked like that. That was the tropical teal as I was pulling it out, but once you rinsed it off, it was very underwhelming and looked like the picture with the three of them all grouped up. If you're talking about the picture of the one that I'm peeing on, that is the middle of the three with the purple and the two blues. But the two blues are the same tropical teal. The far left is just a cold dye bath over 3 days, and it sucked. The middle one is also tropical teal, but it got a couple of minutes in hot water, and it looked great in the photo where it looks like I'm peeing as I'm pulling it out. But of course, once I rinse it out, it loses half its saturation. And you have to rinse it, of course. If you don't rinse it, it'll as it dries, it bleeds, and it dries really unevenly. I need to figure out the color fixative or whatever they have. But I'm not sure. Also, the second problem is, in order to get it to really open the fibers up and soak up the color, you have to get it hotter than 200 degrees Fahrenheit. But the more you open up the mesh fibers, the more it starts to separate itself and stay that way. but I have determined that it won't get very saturated no matter how long you stick it in cold water. It needs hot water. And it needs to be at least 200 degrees Fahrenheit. No, I'm trying to find ways to make it easier so I can bring the price down, not find ways to make it more difficult. Stick it on a... Spin it around like a hot dog at a gas station, yeah. But like, even if I got it to dry evenly without rinsing it off, then as soon as I ship it somewhere where it's humid, it's gonna absorb some of that and sweat, and it'll bleed and look awful all over again. That is actually, I believe, Mike, the red one that I sent you. I think that's what I did with that one, was I tried dyeing it and not rinsing it and letting it dry. And then that's kind of what happens. It's got that weird like ring around the top of it. But it wasn't actually when it dried that it happened. It was after it dried, and then it got real humid here one day. I basically have to rinse them until they stop, until they're dripping completely clear and clean water. I haven't even needed to bleach any white HomePods yet. So far, they've all perfectly whitened up with some Dawn dish soap and a little scrubbing. And you can scrub with like an actual like bristle scrubber if you keep the water hot, but not so hot that it's burning your hands. It works perfect. Makes it look brand new. Yeah, I really gotta try bleaching one day. I want to see what both a black and a white one turn out bleached. Multiple rounds of dyeing does work too. Every time you heat the mesh up, it breaks it down a little more, and they can only take so much heat for so long before they start to delaminate, and they just can't take it anymore. It looks awful. Like, where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, here's an example. Yeah, you see how that's like separating. And there's normally two layers. There's the inner sock and the outer mesh. But what happens is when the outer mesh is made of multiple layers itself, and those layers start to separate, and then it has this weird, like, multi-layer look to it, and it doesn't look nice. Using the wrong cleaning chemicals will do that. Getting it too hot or exposing it to heat over a long period of time, or UV, like having it sitting next to the window with sun shining directly on it every day for years, that'll do it. That one is actually not your boy. Your boy's somewhere on the floor on the other side of the room. He's still got tape on him. He keeps the tape on him so I know who he is and who to avoid. Oh, Vanta Black HomePod, dude, I've wanted to do that. I don't know if it would cause overheating. Should be okay. Depends on where you live too. Oh, I have PTSD over this freaking screwdriver. I keep like double, triple tapping it and like kind of hesitating with it. It just works. It just works so well. I'm in love all over again. I mean, I would be happy to recommend this screwdriver if that's all it takes. Well, maybe, huh? Price is still kind of steep for that kind of the kind of problems it does have. But look at that. Not a problem. Flawless. Heck, I could probably fix one or two of my other ones up and give them away. Who wants a free hassle? Ooh, so perfect. It just works. It just works. I'm not going to go over this for quite a while. Alright, whoever can beat my personal best record for a no-power HomePod repair that needed a new diode without an electric screwdriver can win themselves one of these. No cheating. I reserve the right to change the rules at any point to make it a fair game. And my record is 15 minutes flat. If you can beat it, I'll give you a free screwdriver. One of these bad boys. You've got to take it apart, replace the diode, put it back together again, and make it look as good as it was before, and work as good as it was before. You can't just smash it open with a hammer, replace the diode, and glue the stuff back together and call it good. I'm expecting a video from Mike that is just one of my repairs. It's slightly sped up and mirrored, claiming that he did it and where is his screwdriver. And I'll see the screw every time I grab this screwdriver. It'll be blurred out. You don't actually need one. Trust me. We went a very long time without one fixing up HomePods. Unless you're cranking through 10 of them a day, you especially don't need one. We don't need one. We're not doing 10 today. What is up with that? Oh, what you could do, totally unethical, is you could... Well, it's not even unethical. Like Mike, like this. I guess this happened to Mike with a bunch of his flashlights, but just email Miniware. Find Miniware's website and email them and be like, hey, can I have one of these screwdrivers? But I will do a giveaway. Of course everybody wants and needs one, and I don't have enough to give everybody that wants or needs one, but we'll do a good old-fashioned fair giveaway on one of them. Woo. No, don't say the MacBook's lost in transit. Look up what service that FedEx is shipping it with, because FedEx doesn't do Sunday delivery. Oh, no. What am I thinking? It's Tuesday. Why did I think it was Saturday? Oh, because you were waiting for your other MacBook the other Saturday. That's right. Well, there we go. We've got Kevin Booting up. Who's next? Ivan. Ivan is up next, and then we've got Brad. We'll go ahead and let Brad know they're coming up soon. All right.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting.
Very good, very nice. I don't want to put that over that. I don't want to accidentally peel that off. All right. Ivan, welcome. Let's get this fixed. Ivan. And then Brad. What do we got? No lights, no power. How many watts from the wall? Enough to say it's probably another dead diode. Oh, yeah, let's give Kevin's sock back before we forget that. There we go. Okay, let's dig in. What is going on? Bunch of old Steam Deck screws in my way. All these Steam Decks clogging up my queue. Dirtying up my desk. Should you pay a little extra and get a Gen 2? Well, I mean, it depends on what your priorities are and whether you think the second gen sounds as good as or better than the first gen. Personally, I don't like how the second gen sounds in comparison. I like, and I'm so used to the first gen that I don't like how the second gen sounds. It's noticeably different to me. That said, it's newer hardware. It should get far longer software support. It's got the temperature and humidity sensors. It might get updates for smarter voice assistant. I doubt it. Maybe. Who knows? And it's got a prettier display. I absolutely hate. This is a deal breaker for me. The second gen, the volume buttons are not illuminated. And even with the display on, if it's dark, you can't see the volume buttons. You have to have a light on the display to see where the volume buttons are. The first gens illuminate the volume buttons. The second gens, the volume buttons are just painted on top and they don't light up. It is incredibly annoying. Absolute deal breaker for me personally, because one thing that I often do is if I'm watching movies or just doing anything in the dark, I'm looking over to the HomePods and using the volume controls to control the volume. And I can't do that with the second gens if I can't see the frickin' volume buttons. Why they did that? I don't know. I mean, obviously they wanted the second gen and the mini to look more alike. At least not look too different when they're near each other, you know? The second gen HomePod is much more like the mini than it is like the first gen. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm a fool. Been sitting here with this here the whole time. Oh, lovely. And the screwdriver, again, just working flawlessly now. Since I got this thing, I always thought, but I never really, I'm curious now. Does that mean this one's coming up too? Because it has the same problem. I have to really mash on it to... Yeah. Yeah, it's coming up. Wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you have it? It's insane that Apple ever even lowered the price on HomePods, if we're talking about first gens, because it costs them $249 US per unit just in hardware. That's not including research and development, shipping, software support. Purely just the cost of the hardware, $249 per HomePod. Insane. Oh, I'm gonna be an even heavier user of this screwdriver now that we figured out what the heck was going on with it. Actually fixed it. Properly fixed it. Not a piece of tape, not some jank, not some... It feels better. This feels absolutely fixed. A night and day difference. Even better than the day I got it, I swear. Goodness. I'm just gonna have to preemptively solder the buttons. I mean, I may not even need to buy another one. It's working, and wow. 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 Let's get that glue out of here. It's not doing us any favors. I'm waiting for someone to ask it. I don't know if they'll ask it, but we'll see. Oh, yeah. Role-based, or reaction-based roles were using some Discord bot that I don't think is working anymore. I have to find a new one. I actually need to, unfortunately, just delete that channel until I figure out what to do. I don't even know when the Discord bot just died and stopped working. It was some I wasn't hosting it myself. Just really didn't feel like it. Just give you admin. Yeah, okay. I don't think. How many Vision Pros were sold? How many units did they sell of those? Does anybody know? Would anybody be my Google for me? He's gonna turn the dude. That's what the server kind of not really originally was, but it got really big for a while there because I was friends with a really big like hentai anime rapper. His name is literally Hentai Dude. And yeah, he like one day he put out a YouTube video and just randomly put our Discord server in the video, and it blew up. And it got so big we actually were able to get a freaking Discord partnership back before anybody could get one. But of course, you know, as a community with not really any goal or heading or real purpose aside from messing around, it wasn't destined to really last or stick around or go anywhere. It's always kind of just been my personal Discord server. It just kind of got real popular and had a phase for a while there. That's where Track 44 comes from. That's just my thing. Did we find out how many were sold there? 500,000? Oh man. Nah, see, HomePods were estimated to have sold at least 1.5 to 3 million. And I theorize that Apple was using them, despite the price, as loss leaders. Like I said, for how much they were paying to put these things together for you folks. At many points, there's no way they were making any. At many points, there was no way they were making any significant money on the hardware. They were counting on you signing up for all the subscription services to take advantage of it. No auxiliary in, no Bluetooth. You just got AirPlay, so you have to use an Apple device. And if you want the best quality, then oh, big surprise, you have to use one of Apple's streaming platforms. But it worked for me. It got me into HomePods. I had never had a subscription. Well, no, I had YouTube. I pay for YouTube Premium. But that's it. And then I got Apple Music after I got a couple of HomePods, and I've been paying for it ever since. And they've certainly made much more than they ever could on any hardware selling me Apple Music, let alone the whole family freaking big boy package deal that gives you everything for you and a couple other folks, since I have a family. Woo. Oh, and they really try to sucker you in with the free Apple Music subscription trial subscription too. They really want you to spend that money on it. And they will make they'll go as far as making one of the best speakers in its class and its size for its price, just to get you to subscribe to a service to them. That's my theory. Like for once in a very few times in Apple, their hardware engineers got a chance to really just go balls to the wall with these. Within a budget, of course. And they really pushed that budget. And it looks it. It sounds it. It feels it. I love these things. The second gens, I can't say I don't feel the same way. Like I just, yeah. Even the plastic in the second gen feels cheaper. Everything about the second gen just feels cheaper. They ended up wanting to make more hardware, more money on the hardware. Plus the software subscription. I think they got a little greedy. Or maybe they noticed that they could do a few drawbacks here, a few other upgrades there, and maybe spark a little new, fresh interest in them. Flop it again with the second gen, of course, but they tried. I'm just praying, I'm hoping that someone at Apple has a stash of hundreds of these that they can just give us to make one of the funniest videos of all time. I found a place called Base Island. I mean, there's a few base islands around the world, of course, but you know, there's a base island I found. I want to go to it, rent it out one day, and completely fill the whole island with 500 HomePods. I want to know what it's like. The most ridiculous I've done is 50 around my house, or about, I think it was 25 in my room here. The 25 in the one room here was insane. It was insane. And oh, I love tweeting videos about it, and the replies going all hater crazy, like, oh, it must sound awful. Oh, like they're all going hardcore audio engineering on me, showing me graphs and stuff, and trying to explain how they're gonna cancel each other out or sound like crap or not time each other right, and dude, you're welcome to come over here and listen to it for yourself and tell me how you think it sounds. It's awesome. And yeah, sure, not the most efficient way to go about it, but there's something about having a full range speed, like 20 to dozens of full range speakers, not just a bunch of speakers, but each one of those speakers is full range, and to have a bunch of them surrounding you is an experience. And then Apple did such a great job making it such an easy thing to accomplish, so long as you can cough up the cash. All you gotta do is plug it in and bring your phone near to it. You're ready to rock with all the rest. And it's these are gonna be better than what the average person will probably ever hear. The average person gets what comes with their stuff. They get the gas station earbuds or the the $50-$60 Bluetooth speaker special or whatever. Like, this is a really good attempt at some seriously good sounding. I'm not saying it's like audiophile super accurate, but it's a really enjoyable experience that everyone that isn't a super nerd that I've ever let come over and listen to these has just been blown away. My mom, most of my friends, even some of my nerdier friends, they're still thoroughly impressed by them, and they're like, hey, can I have a few? Everyone wants my HomePods. Everyone wants my home. I'm gonna stop selling refurbished home first gens again. I can't keep selling them. I hate selling them. It breaks my heart. It literally hurts. It physically and emotionally hurts me to sell refurbished first gens. Because I am legitimately trying to hoard as many of them for myself as possible. But it also hurts to keep them from people that don't even have any yet and are just trying to get their hands on a couple just to get started. So that's why I do sell them. But I internally debate all the time. I stop selling them all the time. I'll edit the website and say that I don't sell them and go back and forth all the time. I mean, at this age, I'm considering stopping selling them and never going back because, I mean, how much can you really guarantee everything is going to still work perfectly fine? I'm happy to take in what people already have with an established history so that we know what works and what doesn't work and what to fix and not worry about the rest. But it's when I have to buy broken ones with unknown history, make our best attempt to diagnose and repair whatever issues they have, test it as best as we can, and then hope that we've caught it all and that there isn't anything else that could go wrong with it when we sell it to someone. I hate that. I hate selling stuff. I love fixing stuff, and I love getting paid to fix stuff. And I highly encourage people too. That's why I charge as much as I charge for my refurbs. Because I gotta make it worth my time, and I pay too much for broken ones too. It sucks, but it is what it is these days. The most I've ever personally owned was like 60 to 70 HomePods. But I've never had more than that, and at the moment I only have about 10, not even, I don't even think I have 10 working ones around the house now. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I only have 6 around the house. And then I've got 6 parts pods sitting around, and then, a few dozen individual parts floating around and in various needs of repair. A refurb with the blue? A refurb with the blue, it would still have to be like $200. $200, but that's with shipping and everything. Well, maybe I'll have to take a look at the mesh and see how how much I'd want to try to keep it or use it for someone else. I spotted a rogue diode back here on my desk. I'm gonna take that. Is that a new one? 2306K, it's not even tinned yet. That's a brand new diode. I'm gonna use that. That's mine. Oh, it looks like it's about time for a new order of diodes. I've only got like 30 or 40 of them left here. Good grief, it looks like I need to order new filters too. I've only got like freaking 400 or 500 of those left. How is this doing? Oh, it's got to think about it. Folks, let's take a brief break here, and
I'm having trouble connecting.
there we go. Yeah, we will be right back. All right. All right, all right, all right. Who's next? Brad? Brad is quite dusty here. Let's brush that up real quick. Look at that. Easy peasy. Oh, there's probably some under that tape too. Oh no, look at that. That's a brand new HomePod, if you ask me. Except it doesn't turn on. It's not turning on. Let's get Brad's name up there on the screen. Let's let number 422. Let's let them know that they're up next. Why did I receive 3 packages at my UPS mailbox just now? They're a little late. That's a little late. I'm not going back there today. Alright, no lights, no power, couple of watts from the wall. Do a chit-chat stream where we don't have many to fix, you know? When we don't have much to fix, I love to do it. I have a feeling, based on how this week's been going so far, things are slowing back down. The holiday season is finally coming to an end, and we will have time to slow down a little bit, not worry about just cranking through these, doing some more fun stuff. not just HomePod repairs. I have so much waiting to make videos and streams on. How many watts should it be pulling? That is a good question, Dan. So, a working HomePod should spike a few watts up to like 7 or 10 for your first second or so as soon as you plug it in. And then it should drop down to like 1 to 3 watts as it boots up. Once it's booted up, it should only be using 1 to 3 watts in standby mode. Maybe a couple more watts when it's powered on, and then of course it fluctuates up to like 30 to 50. I think some people have said they've seen 70 plus watts during music playback. A dead diode typically pulls a constant 4 to 7 watts, usually. And that's just on our kilowatt meter here. The problem is our kilometer isn't showing us an instantaneous readout of the power draw. It's kind of more of like a smoothed out average. So like what's happening realistically is with a shorted diode and many other power failures where something is shorted out, is it's rapidly trying to turn on and then back off. Like tens, hundreds, maybe thousands of times a second. And it keeps doing that because it gets to that shorted component, and whatever it does, it just decides to keep trying over and over. So if you have a fast enough power meter or a fancy enough scope to see what kind of power draw it's doing, you would see it actually bouncing between 0 and 4 to 7 watts, or give or take. And it throws a couple of people off, but that's why I try to say the power draw is usually kind of more just a general indicator. The only surefire way to know what's going on is to troubleshoot and diagnose and find the actual faulty component. The power draw is just a general, usually what we see. If it sparks when you plug it in, does that mean anything at the outlet? Not really. A perfectly working normal HomePod does the same thing. The reason why it sparks is because all the big juicy caps inside have fully discharged, and it's not a power surge in a dangerous way per se, but it is a large inrush of power and current when you first plug a HomePod in that has been unplugged long enough to have everything internally discharge. It's perfectly normal for a HomePod to spark or spark like that when you plug it into power. No worries there. Working and broken ones can both do it. The only time it wouldn't spark, I would expect it to not spark, I should say, is if there's a problem inside, like a blown fuse that's preventing the flow of power through it completely. You can also test my theory. It's not really a theory. That's what's going on. I know that's what's going on, but you can sort of prove that more or less by plugging it into power and letting it boot up. Unplug it for like a second and then plug it back in. And you probably, if you only leave it unplugged for a second or two, you probably won't notice much any of a spark. You'll probably notice more of a spark the longer you leave it unplugged before you plug it back in. But in any case, none of it's a concern. That's just it pulling power. I mean, if the ocean is if the ocean's mineral water, then yeah, you'd be a-okay. But let me know if, like, it depends on which part of the ocean that you're talking about too, because I do throw my car batteries into the ocean as well. So if you're thinking of chucking your pod into the ocean, let me know where you were thinking of doing that, so that we're not stepping over each other. Because that could cause problems, you know, with my car batteries in the ocean. If they're too near, if they're too close to your HomePods in the ocean, that I could imagine definitely cause, oh no, some problems. Oh yeah. Oh, I do apologize. I am missing a good majority of the chat there. I can only catch a glimpse of it here and there. There's a lot in the chat going on. How do the Gen 2s compare to the Gen 1s? Oh, I did mention that. I do have a few videos on the second gens. I will proudly claim to be the first person to get their hands on one and tear it down and document it. We did it on a live stream, and then we did a follow-up live stream where we took it apart again and exposed a couple of the cowls for a closer look at more the integrated circuits, all the different chips that it was using. Of course, people came up after that and made objectively better teardown videos, but I was just super excited. Oh, I did not think that we would get a chance to be the first people to do it, and I was like, let's just do it. Let's dive in. Let's see what it takes. Let's be the first. But I put my thoughts in there. I share my thoughts here all the time whenever people ask. I don't really like them. I can't get excited for a second gen like I do the first gens. They're good, but they're not, you know, they're nothing to write home about. I'm not going to buy a bunch of them and fill my house up with them. I'd rather buy a bunch of broken first gens and fix them up and do that. But it's hard to say. If you've got a good return policy near you, I would certainly suggest picking up a second gen and seeing if it satisfies you, or if you'd rather return it and go for first gens and deal with the potential. Yes, I was. They did give me a pretty nice mention. iFixit did in their second gen teardown. I feel kind of bad because I kind of gave them a hard time about how they tore the first gen apart. But to be fair to them, and I do say it every time I give them a hard time about it, but to be fair to them and the first gen teardown that they did, they were one of the first to it. So when you're one of the first to it, you kind of have to sometimes take some steps that in hindsight are stupid or silly, or very more destructive than you need to be. And if that's not true around here, boy, let me tell you. Oh, the number of amplifiers and logic boards from these HomePods that I could have saved and used for other HomePod repairs or sold as a working board to someone else for no reason deemed irreparable or non-fixable other than through my own ignorance or lack of hindsight into a certain problem. But I'm living for it. I am frickin' living for it. So what if I have to sacrifice a few dozen HomePods to figure out how to fix this one issue on this one HomePod here? Because in the end, it ends up saving who knows how many more hundreds or thousands or many more out there with the same issue. I had no idea when we first started sharing this info about the dead diode that there were going to be so many out there with the same one. And then when we figured out the fart filters for death farts and DC offset, same thing. I had no idea it was going to be this big. I thought we were just going to help maybe a few hundred people in total. I thought I was going to maybe get lucky on one or two more broken HomePods. I'm not saying we're at the point of HomePod pandemic or any reason to really even issue an entire recall for the whole product line, but they should definitely do something about customers that have hardware issues with these and do them right instead of, paying me to fix it. I'm happy to make a little extra money, but I just kind of hate the whole principle behind it. Like, yeah, we're doing something for the greater good. We're preventing e-waste. But I would kind of rather just it would just be better if it was fixed a stage earlier than that. If it didn't have to get to that point. And, well, that's not how it is. How it is, well, we're here. And, I guess we'll make the best of it. Apple can subsidize my, my child's food and formula. Oh, she's getting a little too big for the bottle now. I rambled through that whole board repair without looking at the chat once. I apologize again. Marvin says the Gen 2 doesn't sound as good. Hell yeah, brother. They do have Matter support, so yeah, it kind of boils down to what your priorities are and whether you think whether you personally think it sounds good enough or better than the first gen for you. The first gens, many people like the way they sound better, but the second gens, they have the newer hardware. They're going to get longer support. They have the temperature and humidity sensors, But for me, the only things I use my HomePods for are airplaying music and the occasional smart home voice command. And I don't need Matter, I don't need Thread or Matter support for, all of that's worked perfectly fine for me before Matter was a thing. And I don't need any of it now. I'm not about to go replace all my HomePods with second gens just for Matter support now. If I was building out a brand new smart home with all new stuff, that would be a consideration. Or maybe what I would do is I would have one second gen or a stereo pair of second gens in each room for the modern sensing, voice commands, and the modern hardware. But I would fill the rest of the room out with first gens to be the primary drivers for the audio, and I would just disable the voice assistant on all of the first gens and make the second gens be the basically work as the brains in each room. But if you're gonna do that, you may as well kind of just stick a mini and do it with a bunch of minis in each room and use the full-sized first gens as your primaries for audio. Because the minis have all the same in terms of the modern hardware and software support. How do you recommend cleaning up the top if it's all scratched up? I mean, it's just plastic. You can look up any plastic polishing YouTube tutorial, and it's basically going to boil down to a process of like wet sanding, stepping down each stage of sandpaper until you get to the finest grit. You could probably, I imagine maybe I would, I'll try this out for you guys because I've got the spare parts to sacrifice to see how it works. I wonder how well a headlight restore kit would work. But in any case, the whole point is it's a piece of plastic. There's ways to polish plastic and remove the scratches. It's just how much effort do you want and time do you want to spend doing it? How bad are your scratches? Is that, yeah, it's the outer, it's so, Let me screw this in and I'll show you how these tops are constructed and what gets colored exactly. Millie got black top and base. How these bases or how the tops work is it's clear plastic. It's kind of like a CD. The color is not on the top that you see. It's actually on the bottom. This black layer here is the paint layer, and so you got a clear plastic and then the layer of paint and then the adhesive. And what gets colored is the clear portion, obviously. But think of it like a CD where the data isn't on the side that gets all scratched up all the time. The data is actually on the other side of the label that's printed on. The clear section of the DVD is just a protective layer, essentially. And that's why you can polish DVD scratches. That's what you're doing when you're polishing them, is you're just removing a layer of that clear plastic that's all scratched up. You know, I guess, yeah. Oh, if you remove, oh, Stefan. If you remove the paint, it would be clear. Yes, it would. I never thought of that. You know, it would look pretty boring with, you know, this being underneath, but you could remove this plastic. Well, you can't remove the plastic. It's what this sticks to. Shit. Yeah, I mean you could make it clear, but it wouldn't look any more exciting once you stick it back on, unfortunately. I was really excited for a second there. This would be a really cool mod, kind of like how people put clear backs on their iPhones.
I'm having trouble.
All right. Another no power, and then looks like we've got a brick to take a look at. Ooh, exciting. Oh, it's a space gray brick. No. All right. Well, let's see what's going on with this no power that still has the plastic film. Wow, look at that. No lights, no power, no nothing. 6 watts from the wall. That all looks like the dead diode to me. I'll see if I can't squeeze the rest of those bubbles out for him before I send it back. But here we go. ask me after the stream, Mr. Mike, and I will grab you some photos. Well, yeah, no, it's right here. I thought it was somewhere else. It's a little different. The problem is the blue top on my desk here, that's from a sapphire blue. And it has no green in it. This tropical teal, however, it's teal. So it's got a little blue in it. It's okay. It looks okay, but it's not like a professional match. You can tell that they have fundamental differences in their color. Yeah, exactly. Not bad, but not enough green. That is not the teal. But I could probably give it a dip in... Oh, I don't have a green top. I just realized that nobody... it's been a while since I've done a green. The colors that I personally have, I want to make a whole freaking rainbow of them. But what I've got so far is red, orange, blue, and green. I was going to have a purple, but Millie took it. I was going to have a yellow, but it turned out too nice. Like, too nice. Someone paid full price for it. Oh, I need a resin printer. I only have an Ender 3 right now. I don't have the time to get into resin printing. Oh, this one's, that one gave me a workout. And then it just pops right off. What the heck? The screwdriver has been absolutely flawless since we touched it with the soldering iron. I'm still so happy, in fact, that I just might buy the new version of it and see how that one works and give it a good old review. And by that I mean buy a new one, the new version, and stick it in the pile of things that I'll eventually make a video on and never get to it. But hey, I got a good excuse. I got too many HomePods to fix. And no one's going to complain about that because they're waiting for their HomePod to get fixed. Except for Mike. Mike might complain about it. That's why I make Mike wait 2 weeks for his HomePod repair. Get someone on Fiverr to do it. Yeah, or like literally any of one of you dozens or hundreds or freaking thousands of nerds out there watching my videos can freaking do it. Beat me to it. Get some credit. Do something cool. I got enough stuff to do right now. I would love to play in all sorts of extracurricular activities, but until I don't have people waiting on me to get stuff done for them, that's all I can worry about. I kind of hate it, but at the same time, it is kind of nice to be kind of have your own self-made purpose. You know, I'm gonna appreciate it while I've got it. Make the most of it. Just like my kid that screams her head off every other day because she's 2 years old and it's like a switch flipped. I'm gonna enjoy those tantrums while I can still get them. So anyways, I think it's been a few HomePods since I've explained what exactly we do in these inside of these things. We are first replacing these 4 capacitors. They are used as DC filters for the Class D subwoofer amplifier. We have identified that they are the source of death farts. Not just that, but they are ceramic capacitors that naturally decay over time and lose their effectiveness. Basically meaning, in theory, every HomePod would eventually have death farts and need these filters replaced. It's just a matter of time. That said, I have a suspicion that many of these filters are prematurely failing. It's not an age problem per se, it's just a quality. Another quality control problem, go figure. But I like to replace them. We've seen them failing and causing more expensive repairs enough times here that I don't want to get this back for any reason, especially one that we can prevent. So here we go, some brand new good quality filters first, and then we will flip this board around and replace the Schottky diode that actually failed and caused our power problems here. The reason being for that diode failure causing the power problem, nothing more than another quality control issue. We can replace that diode with a brand new one and it will never fail again. Can't say the same for these filters, unfortunately. Like I said, they are all going to go bad, and they will all, even replacements will go bad again. These things have a shelf life of like a year before they start to measurably derate. Technically speaking, if you buy brand new ones and have them sitting around on the shelf for a year or longer, you need to recondition them. That's why I only buy so many at a time and deal with the hassle of buying more every month or so instead of buying as many as I want and just having them sitting around for years. The diodes, I can buy as many of these as I want. They're not going to go bad sitting there. They shouldn't have gone bad doing what they were doing here. This is a protection part. This is supposed to protect stuff. It's not supposed to cause problems. Whatever. I don't get paid enough to... Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Army joke. I don't get paid enough to think about it. I don't get paid to think about it, and I thoroughly enjoy thinking about it. Also, side note, I have had zero problems with this new nano flux, this clear flux. No smoke whatsoever. It flows and reflows beautifully. The joints come out fantastic every time. Good golly, it's the best flux I've ever used. Let's get this thing back together. Let's see if we can, ooh, God forbid we fix everything today and clear this queue up. That'd be a dream. My wife hasn't texted me back yet, and she could be as far as like 30-40 minutes away, so I think at this point we've got a very good chance of catching up today. Oh man, if the wife finds out I'm still fixing HomePods, she's gonna be pissed. We better finish. Nah, she's cool. She's aight. I mean, she's the freaking best, right? She gives me enough time to do a full-time job and fart around for an extra few hours fixing HomePods. And she tries to take the kid out with her and run around and do errands to give me some quiet time here so that we can be loud by ourselves and fix some stuff. Nah, nobody's paying us to send their HomePod in for us to sit here and think about it. People pay us to have their stuff fixed and sent back to them. They don't care if we have to think about it or not. They want a good, fast, quality job, and they want their stuff back, and they don't want to forget about it per se, but you know, they just want to get back to what they had. And they don't want to worry about it again. We may be late because I fixed my screwdriver's fault, but in the long run, I mean, heck, even within this stream, we may have caught ourselves back up by fixing the root problem of our screwdriver and not having to mess with it every 10 minutes. I was seriously, we were getting close to not using this anymore for the rest of the stream and just going full manual. And this takes a HomePod repair. When you've got the process down to a memory, this can take a HomePod repair from 30 to 50 minutes down to 15 to 20 minutes. If you're not, you know, rambling about a bunch of stuff to a YouTube audience at the same time. But I wouldn't turn the camera on and live stream this stuff if I didn't enjoy it. I'm not, no, Stefan. I feel bad enough for how many of them that they sent me, even though they all have the same problem and they didn't really fix anything. Like, my goal was not with them ever to just get a bunch of free stuff. My goal was, and I offered them my time and as much as they wanted to help them figure out what was going on and how to fix it. There are two problems that I have with this screwdriver. It's that button, and it's the power output. Out of the dozen-ish that I've had of these, only the very, 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 very first one that I got has had a motor strong enough to tackle every screw in the HomePod. Every single one of these that I've gotten since has had a noticeably weaker motor. Weak enough that it struggles on some of these screws. And that's why you see me take... It's great because I can just take this motor and move it to a new body and control unit and whatever. But you know, I would love to, again, I recommend this screwdriver to people, especially when we're sitting here making an excellent example out of it and cranking out a bunch of HomePods with it. But I can't if I don't feel like people buying it are going to get the same thing. And I couldn't figure out what the difference is. Everything is identical. I tried buying the same batch. I tried different batches, production runs. I tried different sellers. I tried directly the manufacturer. I tried everything. The only thing I can think of at this point is I got lucky with how good this one is, and they're normally crap. They're normally weak, or at least weaker than this. And that's unfortunate. But it's been like about probably 2 years since I've last done anything about it. So they've released a newer-ish version of it since then. I'm eager to get I'm not eager to spend the money on it, but I'm eager to get my hands on one and see if there's any improvements. If there's a consistent quality, then I'd be happy to recommend them. Because there's no other electric driver like it. It's got one feature. It's got one standout feature that makes us absolutely fly through these things. And it's the motion sensitivity. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't have to sit here and tell it which direction I want it to go. I also don't have to tell it, you know, okay, big deal, just put a button there for each direction, forward and backward, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, okay. It's not just direction, it's speed too. It bases the direction and the speed based on how much I rotate it. So I've got the sensitivity cranked all the way up, but you can turn it down, and it can get really sensitive, and you can do some pretty detailed fine work with these. Or you can turn it up like a beast, like we do here, and just absolutely smash through screws. And when it becomes second nature using the thing, then it becomes a really big benefit to have that motion sensitivity in the motion, like have it tell which way you want it to loosen or tighten based on just which way you start twisting. And I have not noticed or found or seen any other driver on the market that does that. And all of that plus the fact that I haven't found another driver as big as or smaller that puts out the same amount of torque or more. It's the best one that I've found, but it's still not quite recommendable yet. If you guys want to look into this, I have all of the tools that I use on my website, nixfix.com. Go to the FAQ section. I've got all the tools and stuff that we use here. And this is the Miniware ES15, and it's getting there. It's getting there in age. They've released a new version of it since then. But it's like a fully open source. Like it's a pretty premium electric screwdriver, all things said and done. But the flaws are hard to look past for the price. Alright, I believe they asked for us to peel the film off for them too, so we'll do that. No, I'm just kidding. Oh geez. Well, if it isn't time for another one. Woo! All right.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Yeah, I bet. What's going on with number 418 here? Yeah, that's right. We've got a brick. It's a brick! It's a brick! You're a brick! Well, let's let, how do you pronounce that? Is that Joshua? Is that Josue? Is that something fancier? Where's my mouse? How to pronounce. And, make sure I can hear. How do you pronounce this?
For reference in Spanish, it is said as Josue.
Josue.
In English, generally said as Josue.
Josue.
Or in
Oh shit. That's a lot more complicated than I thought. Well, we're gonna let them know they're up next. Let's see, number 13. Ah, we texted them as well. Okay, let me pull out the glorified text messenger, and we will let them know they're up next. All right. Haha. Nice pun, number 418. Just saw that. All right, so what have we got with number 418 here? It looks like we've got a boot loop, not an eternal boot, not the blinkies, but a boot loop. So what it'll do here is it'll attempt to boot up here, and then after a few seconds it will fail and basically start over and try again, and it'll keep doing that over and over. There's other failure methods like this where it could boot up and then just flash the volume buttons and do nothing else, or it could sit here and do nothing but this. I call that an eternal boot, where it just shows that boot animation forever and it never turns back off. You notice here it turned back off, but if we tap it, it just comes right back. So that tells me it's boot looping, not eternal booting, not blinking volume buttons. But in any case, all three of those I lump them into the one big hole. We don't know what's going on until we try a couple things. So what we're going to try first is the easiest, the lowest hanging fruit, being that USB software restore. We're gonna crack this open from the bottom to expose that debug port. I'm going to cap the top so that moving it around on our desk we don't scratch it up there. And we're gonna grab our handy dandy USB adapter. We need it upside down before anything else. And then, since this is the only one we're doing today for bricked restore attempt, I'm not going to bother with the screen share because it would take a few minutes for me to get that up and working again. I don't have a frickin' USB adapter. Hold on. Okay. We'll grab our USB adapter, and the first thing we need to plug this into power, or not power, plug it into USB, and then we can plug it into power. And then we can pull up our terminal, run our magic, and hope for the best. Let's try to get the screen share working while that's going. Will it work? Oh, yes it will. Don't look. Don't look. Okay, you can look. Alright, so here's what we've got. Not good. Device did not reconnect in recovery mode, possibly invalid IBEC. This is the same hardware error that we saw with Millie's HomePod the other day. But in any case, this is unfortunately a hardware error that caused this HomePod's demise, not a software glitch. I'm going to try one more time for posterity here. I'll give this a little wiggle. But, I mean, yeah. Even the way that it's poning, that doesn't feel right. The timing, it just, I've done so many of these that I have a good gut feeling of how slow or fast each of these stages should go. There's definitely a hardware issue with this one though. Let's see what they picked. Number 418. So they did opt for fix it no matter what it takes. I mean, you know, within reason, but they said fix it no matter whether it needs a software or hardware fix. Unfortunately, as per usual, I am short of working space gray logic boards. There is a line of people waiting for space gray logic boards, so they have options. If they don't care, we can put in a logic board from a white HomePod. But some people care about the color of the HomePod that shows up when you bring it near it to set it up for the first time. So we are happy to oblige when people are willing to wait for those specific parts. But otherwise, if they just want a working HomePod, for all intents and purposes, that'll work just fine. We can get this going for them as soon as tomorrow with a logic board from a space gray or from a white HomePod. Because I've got plenty of white HomePods for parts sitting around, and for some reason it's just hard to get your hands on good parts for space grays. And they also, in turn, end up being the most popular one. So we rarely have. It's hard to keep up on the space gray logic boards. We'll let 418 know in writing over text after the stream here what their options are, and let them decide what they want to do. Number, let's see, not number. Here we go. Oh, you've joined us too. Excellent. Welcome, welcome. All right, before we dig into the last pod for today, we are going to take one last quick break, and we will be right back. All right, we are back. Let's see what we've got here. No lights, no power. Couple of watts from the wall. All right, let's, we gotta switch the name up on the screen here. So I just caught number 418's text message there. So, if we've got the time, if we can get through this one here, then we'll hop back over to number 418. They just said that they are cool for a white logic board. I am always happy to oblige with a little mix and match. I mean, heck, if you wanted to like do a whole cosmetic swap from a black to a white, I'm happy to do that for no charge as well. Your parts are in perfectly fine shape for someone else. But yeah, no pressure though. You probably like the space gray. Most people like the space gray. I like the space gray more. So we will get that working if we can get this fixed before we run out of time. You don't mind a white HomePod? Would you? Well, do you want a white HomePod, or do you want to keep your space gray? Because it doesn't. As far as the cosmetics, that doesn't make a difference to us. I've got plenty of cosmetics for both colors. The only thing we're really short on are the logic boards. So that's just an opportunity I wanted to offer you if you wanted to do a full color change. I'm happy to. If you ever felt like you regretted getting the space gray and you wanted white instead, kind of thing. I don't want to make you change if you didn't want it in the first place. Oh, I'm talking to number 418 there. The brick. Don't listen to Mike, he'll offer you $5. He'll offer you $6. And I'll give you $7. And I'll pay for your repair. Oh, you want a white one too? Is that what I I mention it, and then there will be a shortage of white HomePods, and I'll have a surplus of space grays. Oh, but that's nice though. No, for anybody sending their HomePod in for work to get done, if your parts are in good shape, like if I can reuse them for someone else's HomePod, then I'm happy to color change your stuff out for you. For no charge, or I mean, if you want to tip me a few extra bucks on the repair, then it's always appreciated. But I won't charge you if I'm basically taking a couple extra minutes to swap a few more things around for you. If you go in space gray to white too, I need the space gray. I need the space gray logic boards, so I'm more than happy to trade people while we're fixing their stuff. But I don't want to make it sound like we do that all the time. I'm happy to do it, but more people seem to expect that they get what they sent in back, and I want them to feel confident that that's what they're gonna get by default, unless they specifically request otherwise. Actually, there was someone emailing me today. They basically asked me in two or three different times, am I gonna get the same HomePod back? And yep, everything you send, you're gonna get the same thing back, but fixed. There are a few exceptions. For example, like number 418, with the brick. Their issue will probably need a replacement logic board, and that's where the serial number of the thing sits. So it will unfortunately have a new serial number. For me personally, all I care is that the thing works. But what we try to do here as a standard by default is keep things the way that they were, at least, if not improve. And give people the option if things have to change from there before we just change it. Unless they preemptively say they don't care, then we go for it. And I'd have to look at my repair stats, but I think most people, it's like an overwhelming majority of people tend to not think, they think similar to me. They don't care, they just want it to work. Realistically, if Mike's gonna make you a serious offer on buying your HomePod off of you, and if you were considering selling it after you got it back after getting it fixed, or if you weren't planning on keeping it for more than a few years after this, it might be the better choice to sell it instead of paying for the repair and getting it back and then turning around and selling it down the road. But I'll offer what Mike's offering plus an extra $5, and I'll pay you back for your shipping. I'm just kidding, I probably can't afford that. The most that I can offer for a broken HomePod is $60, and I'm happy to pay for shipping in terms of emailing you a shipping label. But that's about as much as I can do. Someone had emailed me for a repair request on a 2nd gen for touch issues. These 2nd gens, they just cannot stop touching themselves. I don't know what's up with them. We know what's up. We know what's wrong with them. We just can't fix it. The touch panel needs to be replaced. But unlike your iPhone, we can't just buy a replacement digitizer. Apple don't sell them. No one sell them. Well, there's this one guy on, what was it? Goofish or whatever. Xianyu. But yeah. I let them know before they even bothered shipping the 2nd gen in. I was like, hey, this would be a no fix because we can't get replacement touch panels. But I would be willing to buy it off you. I offered them $90 and a shipping label for their non-working 2nd gen. And they turned around and said, would you do 120? No, I cannot do 120. I am so sorry. Oh, it's really tempting, and I might give it another week or two and counter offer him a few bucks less and they'll probably take it, but 120 is pretty steep because if I want a broken second gen, I can buy as many broken second gens as I want for $100 or less right now. So $20 extra and paying for your shipping is a little much for me, especially for a second gen because I don't get many of those in. I'm probably not going to make that money back for a long time. It would be more for personal than anything. I'm still gonna end up probably getting it. Dang it. But yeah. Alright, new diode, new filters. We got quite the blob there. Let me free the blob. I mean, if I knew that wouldn't loosen up within the warranty period, I'd leave it. But no. Yeah, we're kidding. We're kidding. And I have to say we're kidding because, man, some people, myself included, sometimes I just can't tell a joke from life or death. Who's breaking and entering into my house? Huh, no one. I think it's just one of the fat cats. I didn't think 22 pounds would look like it does on that cat, but it does. He looks like any other cat, just like scaled up, like literally 2x. All of my other cats I've had have been like 9 to 11 pounds usually. And this sucker's like 20, 23 pounds. What I'm probably going to do for that guy with his second gen making an offer, I'll probably, because like I said, I can get as many as I want for 90 to 100 bucks. I'll probably link them to the most recent broken second gen that I bought for 100 bucks off eBay with free shipping. And I'll offer them. I'll give them $100 offer and give them a shipping label and link them to that. And I'll give them the ultimatum. It's on them. They can take my offer and walk away with more money and less fees. I'm happy to pay them however they want. I'll Zelle them, I'll Venmo them, I'll PayPal them. And they'll make more than they will trying to sell it on eBay, where they're going to have to sell it, or they're going to have to list it for the same price, and I'm going to be the only one that ends up buying it, and they're going to have to lose a significant portion through fees. Take my offer. It's gonna be the best one you're gonna get, I promise. Unless you want to deal with Mike's offers. Yeah, Mike, you're right. I hit stream on the deck, and I as soon as I hit stream, I realized I goofed and I didn't clickbait you all. But you know what I'm gonna do though? I'm just gonna die. I'm gonna have to color my own HomePod for myself just to clickbait you all for the next one. It's almost easy enough for me now to do that, because I've got a pot small enough to use on my induction cooktop that I can just bring into the living room and watch my kid while I work on it. I hate doing that because I want to fully focus on my kid and like help them grow and like learn shit, and I don't want to be busy doing other things while I'm doing that. I want to give them full, unbroken attention. I've been working long enough all day. The last thing I should be doing is messing around with HomePods some more at night. But I can't help myself. Oh, they're going white? You're going white? All right. We'll do that. We'll do that while we're here, since I saw you and you're asking for it. Like I said, I don't want to pressure you into it by any means. But if you felt like you wanted to take advantage of an opportunity to switch the colors around, then, well, here's when we do it. We want to do that before we get any farther. And where's my T4? What this means is we've now got a space gray logic board to fix someone else that's been waiting for a space gray one. We've got Thomas, number 308, and poor Jeffrey. They have been waiting for dang near, like, probably about a week or longer now. I feel awful, but I can only do what I can do. But, your logic board will be going to immediate good use. Let's see. Here we go. This one, almost perfect. Hold on. Let me see if I've got a better one. Well, in any case, we want this one's logic board because this HomePod has no power. It's the usual diode issue. Ooh, and it's got some pretty parts on it. So we'll use this to convert this HomePod to white. And as good as it looks, we can make it look better. Before we send it to them, I'm gonna give it a wash. But at least for here and now, I want to show them a good working HomePod before we charge them for the repair. And iFixit's not the only one that kind of butchered the first gen teardown. What was it called? What was their channel called? Electronics Repair School. It's the guy that I will give credit to being the first person to figure out the no power dead diode issue. I'll take credit for most of the other repairs that we do here and most of the issues and repairs on my website. But the dead diode issue in particular, that wasn't me. I didn't figure that one out originally. That was actually Electronics Repair School. But his video on it, again, hindsight. You know, and also experience having done so many of these by now. But, oh, and they will have a serial number that matches the base. So the serial number printed on the bottom will match what shows up in the home app and during setup and all that. It will be a proper white HomePod. But anyways, Electronics Repair School, I will give credit to being the first person to have solved the no power issue for these. And I don't remember where I was going with that, sorry. Let's get this switched over. I'm just trying to beat my... Oh God. I was gonna say I'm just trying to beat my wife, but out of context that sounds absolutely awful. Please don't call the police. I'm just trying to say that I'm trying to finish everything we gotta do today before she gets home. It's a good thing we're not streaming on Twitch. I think people would they'd clip me and put me on Twitter and get me canceled instantly. I'm far from that kind of person. I promise. There we go. How much does a subwoofer cost? If you're sending it in to me for repair, it's all part of the usual repair estimate. It'd be an $80 repair with shipping included if you're in the US with me. I don't. Well, I do. Do I have this? I don't think I have the subwoofers listed on my website because I don't have too many of them. You can sometimes find random sellers on random Chinese marketplaces selling them for about 30 to $40 a piece plus shipping. I mean, you might as well just pay for the repair from me and get a 1-year warranty with it too, and the hardware maintenance. It just ends up being a better deal. Give me your money. No. Bias or no bias, it just unless you crank through a bunch of these yourself, or you're in it for fixing these yourself, and you're doing the other, like you're also going to do the filters and the diode. If it's your first HomePod fix, don't spend too much money trying to, don't get sucked into the sunken cost fallacy. Let me do it for you. Let me experience the sunken cost fallacy for you in the form of spending hours and hours and hours on rebuilding your amplifier board just for it to not end up working still and having to replace it. Mike. I'm gonna get that amp working one day. I'm gonna figure out what went wrong. What died? Like I guess I don't even care as much if I can get it working again. I just want to know exactly what am I missing still. Oh, the irony with Mike's board is the fact that I just had to pick another board to refurbish that needed a whole nother freaking 30 to 40 minutes in work. I mean, we could have made it easily just a few minutes of work if we had cataloged it correctly, but that's okay. We got it working. We got him working. And we're about to get this one working too. Oh, my wife just texted me. The timer is ticking. Let's try to get number 418 working there before we go. All right. We have got one working white HomePod for them. Let's get number 418 back here. I don't know if they're still watching here with us. But let's get that knocked out before my wife gets home here.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Beautiful.
I'm having trouble connecting.
All right, all right, all right. We need a logic board for this guy too. And I know we just got a space gray logic board from Josu. Is that how you, I can't remember how you say that, but unfortunately there are people who have been waiting far longer than number 418 here for an OEM. So, well, I guess that we're not going to use that one. For an OEM space gray board, so we're going to, we're going to use their space gray board for someone else's repair. We're going to find ourselves a white logic board that they are happy to use. No lights, no power on this one. A couple of watts from the wall. That tells me this is just an amp issue. That logic board is just fine. Give me that. Ooh, this one's been sitting in the sun. Check this out. Look at how perfect this mesh is now. And all I have to do is just this, and it's ruined. This one unfortunately sat in the sun. So, as nice as it looked, it was not good to give or use to someone else. Ooh, you coming over for dinner, Mike? Yeah. She likes to make sure that people coming over for dinner aren't feeling excluded. Like they've got something to eat, too. You never know what people are allergic to or, you know, even like picky about, but they're just too shy to mention. Mike, you don't want this mesh. This mesh is in worse shape than your boy. Right, one logic board. Ooh, stinky. Let's get this taken care of. Nah, we're not live anymore. The rest of this is AI generated AI has gotten pretty far, you know. Ugh. Oh, I did forget the sniff test. It smells good. I don't. These days, I tend not to sniff them too much unless they look suspicious. They tend to look suspicious before they smell suspicious. I'll say that much. And I got to start thinking about the long-term health effects too. I got a kid and a wife, you know. Can't be so reckless these days. Man, it takes just enough time for me to hit my vape, take a drink of beer, for those filters to heat up and come off the board. Helps keep me focused though. I wouldn't recommend you going, don't vape. Don't smoke. I'm an outlier. It helps me focus. Not that I need any help focusing on this kind of work, especially when we're sitting here in front of a camera, but actually I do need the help. We could get distracted. We could easily get distracted and only be halfway through today's queue. This far into it. You think we get distracted as is? Oh boy. We're tame right now. I'm surprised we got through today's queue still. Alright, does this need a new diode? No, it does not. It is of the date code 36K. So that takes care of everything. Yes, everything looks great. Let's get this back together and get out of here. Okay, so what did we just do there? I didn't really explain what we were doing here. Some of you might have thought this thing just needed a replacement logic board, but for what they're paying for us to fix their issue... Oh, wife just pulled into the driveway. Shoot. She's gonna find out we're still fixing stuff. I'm gonna be in the doghouse tonight, folks. Oh no. I'll tell her this one's mine. I'll tell her I'm just fixing this one for fun. Well, let me go help her bring stuff in really quick, and I will be right back. Hopefully. Alright. I got the kid in. I got her in her playpen. I got the K-pop on for a few more minutes. Long enough for us to get this back together. that is a working HomePod for number 418 there. We'll get it factory reset, update it, put it through its paces, make sure it's not going to mess up for them. And that is it for today's live stream repair. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to catch you in the next one.